The clock's red digits burned 2:17 a.m. into the dark, a silent accusation glowing from the nightstand. My wife's side of the bed lay untouched, the sheets crisp and cold as a morgue slab. Her words echoed in my skull. "Don't wait up, Tom. Late night at the office." Her voice had been smooth like polished glass, but it cracked at the edges, too casual, too quick. I sat rigid in the armchair by the window, the leather creaking under my weight, my phone's voice recorder app open, its timer ticking past 3 hours. The city's pulse thrummed outside. Distant horns, the low hum of neon signs. But inside my heart was a drumbeat, heavy and erratic, drowning it all out. I hadn't meant to record her. Not at first. It started as a reflex, a way to capture my spiraling thoughts when she began slipping away. Late nights, vague excuses, perfume I didn't recognize clinging to her coats. "Just work, Tom. You're paranoid." But paranoia has a scent too sharp and metallic, and it clung to me now as I replayed her call from earlier. "I'm swamped, love. Don't wait up." The word love had sounded hollow, like a coin dropped in an empty well. I pressed record to trap the truth, whatever it was, before it could slither away again. The apartment felt too small tonight, the walls pressing in with their muted grays and framed photos of us smiling. Hawaii, Paris, our wedding. Her laugh in those memories felt like a stranger's now. I stood, my bare feet cold against the hardwood, and paced to the kitchen. Her coffee mug sat unwashed in the sink, lipstick smudged on the rim like a bruise. I stared at it, my thumb brushing the stain, wondering whose lips she'd pressed hers to tonight. The thought was a blade, slicing through the fog of denial I'd clung to for weeks. It started small. A missed call from a number labeled client_Mark. Her phone face down on the counter more often than not. The way her eyes darted away when I asked about her day, her answers clipped and rehearsed. "Just work, Tom. You know how it is." But I didn't know. Not anymore. She was a partner at a law firm, her days a blur of contracts and boardrooms, but lately she'd been distant, her warmth replaced by a brittle edge. I'd rationalized it, stress, ambition, the grind of her career. But tonight the excuses crumbled like ash. I sank back into the armchair, the recorder still running, capturing the silence that screamed louder than words. My mind replayed the red flags, each one a pinprick of doubt. The late-night texts she'd dismiss as just work. The new silk blouse she'd worn last week, one I'd never seen, tucked into a dry-cleaning bag like a secret. The way she'd linger in the bathroom, the shower running too long, as if washing away something I wasn't meant to see. I'd ignored it all, afraid of what I'd find if I looked too closely. But fear is a coward's shield, and mine was breaking. The phone buzzed in my hand, a text lighting up the screen. "Mark, still up?" My stomach lurched, acid rising in my throat. Not client_Mark anymore, just Mark. I stared at the words, my thumb hovering over the reply button, every nerve screaming to type something, anything to unmask the truth. But I didn't. I let the screen go dark, my reflection staring back, hollow-eyed and unshaven. The recorder caught my ragged breath, a sound I barely recognized as my own. I thought of confronting her when she came home, if she came home. I imagined her key turning in the lock, her heels clicking on the floor, her face pale with guilt or defiance. Would she lie? Cry? Confess? I didn't know which I feared more. The love we'd built over 10 years felt like a house of cards, trembling under the weight of my suspicion. I still loved her. God help me, I did. But love was a tangled thing now, knotted with anger and betrayal. The clock ticked to 3:04 a.m. Headlights swept across the curtains, and my pulse spiked. I leaned toward the window, peering through the slats. Her car pulled into the lot, sleek and silver under the streetlights. She stepped out, her coat pulled tight against the October chill, her hair catching the glow of a street lamp. She looked beautiful, and that hurt worse than anything. I pressed the recorder closer, as if it could capture the ache in my chest. The door creaked open, and her footsteps hesitated in the hall. "Tom." Her voice was soft, tentative, like she hadn't expected me. I stayed silent, the recorder's red light my only answer. She stepped into the living room, her eyes finding me in the dark. "Why are you up?" she asked, her tone laced with something, guilt? Fear? I couldn't tell. "Couldn't sleep," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside. "How was work?" She froze just for a second, her fingers tightening on her purse. "Fine. Long." She set the purse down, avoiding my gaze. The air between us crackled, thick with unspoken truths. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but the recorder was still running, and I needed her to fill the silence. "You've been working a lot," I said, each word a careful step across a minefield. "This Mark guy keeping you busy?" Her breath hitched so faint I almost missed it. "He's just a client," she said too quickly. "Big case. You know how it is." But her eyes betrayed her, darting to the floor, her hands twisting together. The recorder caught it all, the tremor in her voice, the lie she couldn't sell. I stood, closing the distance between us. "Is he?" My voice was low, dangerous. Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence was a confession, louder than any shout. I held up the phone, the recorder's timer glowing. "I've been recording, Sarah. Everything. Want to tell me what I'd hear if I played it back?" Her face crumpled, not with guilt but with something sharper. Anger, maybe, or defiance. "You're spying on me?" she snapped, her voice rising. "You don't trust me?" "Should I?" The question hung like smoke, choking us both. Her eyes glistened, but she didn't cry. She stepped closer, her perfume new, unfamiliar, filling my lungs. "It's not what you think," she whispered, but her voice broke, and I knew it was exactly what I thought. The truth was a weight, crushing the last of my denial. Mark wasn't just a client. He was the late nights, the hidden texts, the lipstick on the mug. He was the crack in our marriage, widening with every lie. "Then what is it?" I asked, my voice raw. "Tell me, Sarah. Tell me why you're never here. Tell me why you smell like someone else." She flinched, her hand reaching for mine, but I pulled away. "Tom, She stopped, her eyes searching mine, pleading. "I didn't mean for this to happen. It just did." The words were a punch, stealing my breath. I wanted to hate her, to scream, but all I felt was grief, heavy and suffocating. "How long?" I asked, barely a whisper. 6 months, she said, her voice small. "I'm sorry, Tom. I love you, but don't." I cut her off, my hand shaking as I stopped the recording. The silence was deafening, the truth laid bare between us. I thought of the years we'd shared, the promises we'd made, now shattered like glass. But then she spoke again, her voice steady, and the world tilted. "It's not just Mark," she said, her eyes meeting mine, unflinching. "It's his wife too. We're all involved." The room spun, the recorder slipping from my hand. The betrayal wasn't just hers. It was a web, tangled and vast, pulling me under. I stared at her, my wife, a stranger now, and realized the truth I'd recorded was only the beginning.